myself. Take me right back to the start.
Welcome once again, the MML community, to another pre-cap for Season 22. It may start today, or maybe next week, we don't know. But one thing's for sure is it's time for another pre-cap. And we're back in the pros, and it's back with a good old European flavour with the WAC/DVC play pool. Better known as the Wasteland Athletic Conference and the Death Valley Conference. So, is there a winner of Season 22 going to be in here as the new champion? We will see. So interesting. We saw the other European play pool, what I believe is the best play pool by far this season. But that's not to mean that the rest of the play pools haven't got good quality coaches in there and good quality matches. And this is a nice little bit of everything in here. So without further ado, we'll start with the Wasteland Athletic Conference, and we'll start with Wild Tickle Fight. They were finalists in the challenge last season, and it's a Chorf team. I know a few things about Chorfs. The problem with Chorfs for me is I just get bored with them after so long. So let's have a look at this. It's a really nice built team. It's got 1920 TV, so it's well within the range. So considering that I think this has only had one season challenge, this team's been built quite well. It's got the one claw piece in Stew. Loads of, this is the way I build Longbeards, Mighty Blow, Guard, and Stand Firm. So these are the exact three levels I would pick straight up. So he knows what he's doing, does Murray. He's building them in the right way. Interestingly, he went Stand Firm before Mighty Blow on that one. Might come back to bite him in the backside if he rolls a double next. Both bulls are solid. Both got block, guard. Block, break, tackle. One's got guard. There's no sort of hidden agenda here. He's trying to get as much guard, and that is really smart, because when I've obviously played Chorfs in various things, like in other private PS4 leagues and in Rebel as well on the PC, is that when you go higher up, you come against these bigger, nastier, sort of like stronger kill teams, like for instance like Chaos and Nergal and stuff like that, and they're a lot stronger than you are. So I always think as a Chorf, it's a really bad fight. So I bully in the elves and stuff like that, but against the big guns, you need these sort of things. You need guard and stand firm. So if they don't knock you down, then you put them in the dilemma of, do we try and dodge what could cause turnover, fail a better reroll, or even injure yourself, or just stand there and then get a free hit back? Pink's got a Dauntless as well. These are really, really smartly chosen skills for these blockers. Just the one claw at the moment, so he hasn't been lucky enough to get any more doubles. But again, with the transfer system, he'll be able to bring more claw in if he needs to. But it's a really nasty, solid-looking team. He's got his ball carrying Hobgoblin, same as I would do it. He's got a nice tackle wrestle Hobgoblin as well. it is a real nice team. The other thing it's really missing is a dirty player. I think Booberman should have been a dirty player. Put the boot in. Hobgoblins are cheap, so that's the only thing I think I'd have done different in this team. It's a really, really nice team. 3 rerolls as well in the Apothecary. Purple Rain, Security Gate as well. Not a bad record. 18 wins, 6 draws, 10 losses. Got a 4-0 there against Knuckles Garage Band. So he lost in the final, but I don't think he lost all season. But again, this is the thing sometimes with play pools. So his Chorf, he's played Ogres, Goblins, the Undead, Ogres, Goblins, Amazon. So the play pool, race-wise, was perfect for him. And you know, you still got to go and win the games, what he did. You know, so you got to give him credit there. But I always think sometimes just to look at the draw of the play pools. So obviously a lot of those stunties he'd been able to get a lot of XP from as well, so that'll have helped him. I presume most of his losses came in the farm. Looking at it. Don't know. Probably. Looks like it, doesn't it? Could be wrong. But I really like this team. It's really well built. Fan factor's 12, so that's a decent fan factor. It's basically got everything. I mean, I don't really see a weakness. Like I said, the only thing I would have got would have been a deep data player. And obviously, Disco David is 2 points away from another level up as well. Will he go guard on that if it's just a normal skill? Possibly. Frenzy would be another thing to have a look at. A strength 4 piece just to like give another threat if someone goes down the flank. You know. Oh, I forgot to pick my play, didn't I? The player I would take, and it's quite easy, this one is number 7, Stu. He's a killer, and he has guard as well. All the rest are just bog standard, nicely built choffs. So the only thing what's different out of the full team is this guy, Stu. So I would take him, definitely. Best matchups, worst matchups. Well, best matchups got to be the Amazons. They take away the dodge skill. He's got so much mighty blow to AV7. And I know Booby's not happy that he's got to play him again. He played him in the play pool, and now he's got to play him in this play pool as well. And they're both, I do believe, in the same conference as well. So these two will play against each other over and over again. So, yeah, that's not good, is it, Booby? So, yeah, that's definitely, to me, is best matchup. Looking at, like, sort of a terrible matchup. Let's have a look at the Yobs. Orcs are usually high strength and high guide. Let's have a look. As I quiet 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I mean, I'll go with the Yobs just because of the high strength and the guard. That is basically what it is, I think. You know, they've got plenty of guard. They're obviously quite strong as well. They've got a bit of agility. He's got strength 5 Black Hawk there as well, who can try and hold the LAN. Just got to be wary of obviously the Dauntless piece. He's got a troll as well, so 2 strength 5 there as well. He's only got yeah, so he's got 1 strength 5 troll, 4 Black Hawks, 1 strength 5. So that's quite a lot of power there as well. Obviously, you know, Murray might bring his bulls more into like a Black Hawk sort of route and come and help out what he could do. I just don't really see a big, massive sort of danger to the Chorfs in like a really bad matchup. Just have a look at the Lizards. Again, plenty of mighty blow. Alright guard, but again the Skinks could get broken pretty quickly. Clown Zombie. Let's have a look at the one Smash who obviously lost to the Chorfs in the challenge. Again, it's a nice little team, but again, you know, you can tell by the TV difference as well. Let's have a look at Tripp's team. That looks, his team seems to go up and down like I don't know what. Oh, he's got 4 out in the first game. No wonder it's quite short. But again, you know, there's not really any guard there, is there? So I honestly think if anyone's going to cause him problems, you know, an obvious problem, I would say obviously the 8 Yobs. I think they're just as strong, if not stronger. They've got enough guard. They've got ball players. They've got a bit of mighty blow as well. And obviously the thing with Chaos Dwarfs is they do have Hobgoblins, so you can target them. You don't always have to target the AV9. Get rid of the Hobgoblins, then outnumber him. And like I said, he's only got 1 claw piece, so the Orcs shouldn't be too scared. Piles on with that, give it a boot on the floor, try and get rid of him as well. So, yeah, I think that's probably the worst matchup. But, you know, Murray's got a really good chance here of making the playoffs. It's a really well-built team. You know, if someone turns around to you and says, how do you build a standard Chorf team? That is how you build them. You know, it is a really no-frills, solid team. And sometimes that's just what Chorfs want. I mean, obviously, you'd like another 1 or 2 claw just to be amazing. But that team easily good enough to go close in this division. So I wish Murray all the best. Right, the next team then we're having a look at is, let me have a look, is Silver Girls Forever. So obviously it is the Amazons. I'll be honest, I played Amazons and I don't know. I don't know, I just don't like playing them. I'll be honest, I don't know why it is. I think maybe it's because if another team's got a 1 or 2 tackle mighty blow pieces, they can just chew through your team. Then obviously people roll powers. They can break your team at AB7, you're not very quick. You know, only movement 6 all round, and they're all like agility 3. So I always think they're quite a tough team in these like longer, like high TV, you know, sort of competitions. Obviously at low level, like in tabletop, they're good. But I always respect coaches who give it a go. I mean, obviously the holy grail is to get everyone with blodge, and then get some stand firm in there. He's got 1 stand firm. I mean, your blitzers should be like a combination of mighty blow, guard, stand firm, and then whatever else. I mean, that's what you should be looking for. I would take guard everywhere possible on these other lesser pieces. Then I'd obviously take stand firm. I think that's what you should be looking at when you play Amazon. If I played Amazon, I'd be like, right, okay, I want block. I want some enforcers, what obviously Booby's got, but I need guard. I so need guard in this because I'm not strong enough. I'm going to get bullied by the Chorfs, like the Orcs, you know, but I haven't got the speed to outrun the quicker teams. I haven't got the agility, you know, to do all these shenanigan plays at the moment, you know, and that's the problem with Amazons. And obviously a 3+ dodge away, even with a reroll, does fail every so often. So, you know, pardon me. So it's pretty difficult. Just to bear with me, I'll just have a cough. Right, sorry about that. So I always think they're really tough team to play. But that might be just me. You know, I can't say I've probably played less than 20 games with Amazons in my whole career. So, you know, maybe I should try. Maybe I should try and see what I can do with them. But I honestly believe guard and stand firm are 2 very key things, because obviously a blodger with stand firm, you know, you can park him anywhere. You can hit the corner of a cage, tag the ball carrier, right? And if he doesn't roll a pow, or if he doesn't hit you with a tackle piece, then all of a sudden he's got a dodge. So I always think, you know, stand firm and guard are 2 very, very good pieces. Obviously catches with sidestep and diamond tackle are good as well. So I'm really interested to see how they go. It's unfortunate that they're in the same conference as Chorfs. That really is a bit cruel. You know, I don't think I would have done that to him, bless him. But, you know, the way I would look at it, if it was our Booby Man, I'd be like, I've got nothing to lose, I'm not expected to win, but I'd see it as a challenge, because if I can beat these Chorfs, then, you know, who knows? You know, the glory of the underdog. He'll obviously have a lot of inducements as well. I would just knock him down and foul the beep out of him, but that's just me. Looking at, I mean, he did well. He got the Nuffle Altar. Interesting. Ooh. What do they get? What do the Amazons get? What gets them the Nuffle Altar? What? There's a chainsaw will get cheaper, though I'm not a fan of chainsaws. Do they get the bomber? Don't think they do they? They don't get the dwarf bomber, I wouldn't have thought. Oh, you've caught me out on that one. I presume there must be some sort of cheap piece. But again, that would be really good against like something like the Chorfs if they're at home. So yeah, that's interesting. I'll have to check up on that. In the Silver Pit. Good record though. 11 wins, 8 draws, 4 losses. So really, really good. I backed him to win that game against the Mighty Reds. What happened? But you know, he's got some. Again, he's against teams he played last season. It seems like they've basically, for whatever reason, the player pools have been like, right, you lot played last season, here, play against each other again. Well, it's a bit annoying because they've already played each other. They've got to play each other again, and it's like, you know, you want to play different coaches, don't you, in different teams. So it's, you know, again, David Jones Reject, the Goblobbers and AFD, they'll all play them again. But a good record. Obviously, Booby's a good coach. I'm not too keen on the leader and only having 2 rerolls. I mean, I've got that with my dwarfs a challenge, but that's to trying to fit under a cap. What obviously Booby has no problems with being in pros now. So but then again, you see most of the time they've got block anti and stuff. So no sure hands in the team, that could be a problem. But yeah, if I had to take a piece from here, I think there's a few good pieces here. It's really difficult between this catcher and the blitzer, and I'll go with the blitzer just because obviously, you know, mighty blow tackle is always going to be more useful in the long term of things and can go after like anything really. So for instance, like the Chos, I'm using the Chos because that's one of the bigger games. You could crack this out of a cage on two die. If someone hits him, he's got stand firm, so if they don't lock him down, same problem you would have with the Chofs. So yeah, I'd go number 1. Right, worst case matchup, as I've already spoken about, would be the Wild Tickle fight. Again, it would, you know, with all the inducements he'll have, and obviously if he gets the Knuffles alternatives at home, he'd have a chance. There's some big, beefy, strong ogres in it. There's a strong ogre in there as well you can take. So you just never know. Best matchup for the Amazons would be, well, it'd be anything what doesn't have much tackle. You know. Oh, I apologise. I thought, for some bizarre reason, I thought the goblins were in here. I've only just done the goblin thing. So, to be honest, I'll retract my statement. This is, apart from the Chorfs and Clown Zombie... Oh, no, and Clown... Oh, yeah, there's a few. Just not the goblins here. But again, it's still not too bad. He gets to play the lovely Trippers. That's good. And Pally and Shake and all that. Best matchup. Ooh, God. Let's have a look at David Jones. See what he's got. Just a 1 tackle. Bit of guard. Not bad. Let's have a look at the other undead. No tackle. Okay. Right, we'll go with a Monster Mash then. Because they have no tackle. I think that's going to be... Any team that has no tackle is always going to play into the strengths of an Amazon team. Obviously, POWs do happen. I mean, the amount of times I'll have a Blodger and someone will just roll 1 die and get a POW. So frustrating. But, you know, Blodger's still the best protection against non-tackle pieces. Trippers, obviously, with friends, he gets 2 bites of the cherry usually. Most of the times it is better pieces. So, you know, I wouldn't pick them. But yeah, I'd say the Monster Mash would be the best matchup, but it'll be good to see how Boomerang goes. I'm always a big fan of these other races, these lesser known races doing well in the playoffs, and obviously it'll be interesting to see how he does in the pros with them. Right, the next team then we have the Monster Mash. Yes, we saw the Monster Mash. Now we've got the Monster Mash. Big fan of Clown Zombie, knows what he's doing. Great coach. He's got a very nice Father Francis there. Block, guard, break tackle, dodge. So he's a cage breaker. The other one's pretty good as well. Trapper John, look at that. Guard, stand firm, block. Lovely. So he's got 2 really, really nice mummies. He's got Hawkeye, the white. Agility. It's always a funny one, agility on a white. I remember having an agility 5 white once. I think that was on a Necro team. I just never know. It's all right, innit? But they're never going to be ball carriers. I don't know. Would I prefer Mighty Blow there instead? Probably. I mean, agility's not terrible, but you know, he's number 5's a guy who's going to do the stuff, isn't he? Straminski, and then obviously Winchester's there as well. He can get 2 more ghouls. I'd probably build one more of a handoff merchant with things like block and catch. So obviously, you know, Straminski can then hand off if he needs to the other goal. But yeah, agility is an interesting one. I don't know, would I have took it? I don't know, if I'm being honest. I I think I'd trust in Straminski. But again, I suppose if Straminski's out or gets bolted or whatever, you do have a White who can be a ball carrier. But again, the White should be fighting with guard and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'd have took it myself, but it is what it is. Clown Zombie likes Wood Elf, so obviously any sort of agility, I guess he'll take. But again, for 1490, it's a nice little team, isn't it? He's got 2 really well developed mummies. He's got a White who can go anywhere really with agility 4. Genghis Khan, is that Genghis Khan? He's pretty useful. You'd think he'd get tackle next. Very good goal. Like he's got sidestep and fend there. That's a pretty funky combination. Obviously Winchester's a ball sacker at the moment, and that Zombies is block and fend. What's interesting. And thick skull on there as well. Squidge Sandwich Chaos, yeah, to make sure your mummies don't go splat. What's his record? 13.55. Got absolutely smashed by Olympus Horizon. Lost 1-0 to Wild Tickle Fight, so it was a close game. But sort of took care of everybody else, apart from the Amazons, but we know tackle is going to struggle against. So basically, yeah, it was a solid performance. Olympus Horizon, obviously, 2-time challenge winners, so there's no shame in losing to them. And obviously, they won the challenge in this season as well, just gone. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't surprise me. A really big fan of his. Really impressed the way he coaches, and I think this team will be there or thereabouts just because of the coach. Best and worst matchups then for them. I think the worst match is probably Silver Girls Forever, just because of the blodge aspect. Best match. Oof. Best match. What is their best match? I'm gonna have to go with Either Undead. Nothing really stands out as the best match. The obs are very powerful and guard heavy. The Chorfs are might blow laden and claw and guard heavy. Trip's got claw and he's got frenzy, so you know I would say probably Davy Jones is best matchup in a Undead v Undead sort of game. But there you go. Again, a real nicely built team. Obviously they're going to, as they develop, and this is a nice. I mean, without putting the mockers on it, this seems quite a nice play pool to get developed in. It's not like well, I call them the Americans. The Americans, I mean, are really killy. The Americans over the Europeans. The Europeans seem to have a bit of finesse or a bit of positioning, where over in the American side, it seems to be like kill everything. What's pretty cool, you know. I ain't gonna diss that. But yeah, best luck to Clown Zombie. And final team of the 4 of the Wasteland Athletic Conference is Fire Salamanders, who'll be delighted they're not going to be running into any Nagel or anything like that this season. Paladokis, a very good coach. His team's gone through the mire a bit with claw heavy play pools. This isn't a claw heavy play pool. So hopefully these lizards will be able to show what they can do. They've been through like I said, they have been through it. Obviously, -1 now on the Punisher. What's up with Fritz? Is it just an MNG? Let's have a look. Yeah, just an MNG, so he'll be healthy after the first game. 17 nads TV, not bad. Obviously, Uwe hugs a lot of the TV. It is good. Agility 5, not bad. Agility 4 is great. Agility 5, not so sure. Obviously, Strength 3 is nice as well, but you know, sad step, sure feet. But he's a long way to get another level. I like that he's got Paul and Marco, who are both blockers. You know, Blodge, Skinks. Obviously, if one of those could get to the double game, show hands maybe. But like I said, there's a lot of TV sunk into the Skinks, mainly because of him. Gad, the Crux goes a bit, yeah. He's just a no-frills Crux go, isn't he? You'd have liked a double bar now. I mean, stand firm, Guard, and Grab are all good things. Grab obviously helps with the 110 as well. And obviously you've got Savage there, Punisher as well. Shame Punisher's got an AV down, but he might be able to get away with it in this play pool, maybe. Mario is a standard Gunter. So I think this. I mean, I think Pally will be hoping this season they'll be able to just regroup, hopefully not lose too many players, and then go again. And this is the thing when people talk about elves and they talk about like kill teams or other teams, and people say, well, elves, it's easy with elves because all they have to do is roll a 2+. Now, I'm not going to get into that argument, but what I will say is this. When you lose a Chaos Warrior, I don't know, a Pestigo Killer, a well-developed Beast of Nurgle, a well-developed Blackhawk, a well-developed Saurus, they are hard to replace, especially if you lose more than one. There is no quick fix. You cannot level them up so quickly. You lose a War Dancer, you lose a Catcher, or anything with Agility 4 with speed, or a Gutter Runner, they can be quickly, leveled up. So, every time you lose a Saurus, it is a Blackhawk, or a Chaos Warrior, or a well-developed Chaos Warrior. They are hard to replace, really hard. Maybe, even though the transfers are a bit more restricted, maybe you could sort of get one sort of back, but anything from that can really set your team back. And like I said, as well, if you lose them during the season, if this team has to play with 4-5 Saurus for most season, then it is a major problem. Luckily, he's got 130k in the bank. He's obviously decided, look, I've got six alright Saurus. I can't really afford another decent Saurus. I'll go what I've got. Like I say, he'll have five strength 4 pieces and a strength 5 piece, so it's good enough. Like I say, and he's a good coach. No enhancements. 17 wins, 5 draws, 19 losses, but some of them losses were against seriously crazy, bad matchups for him. I mean, look at the Power Hour, the Abomination Nation as well there. But look at that, he beat the Silver Suns, who was the finalists. Played the Rednecks, Pumas. So, there's a lot of seriously claw-heavy teams there as well. So, I think he'll do well in this division, I really do. He's got 3 decent ball carriers, or, 3 very decent skinks. And like I said, the Sauruses are decent. So we'll see. If I had to pick a play from here, I'd go with Savage. I wouldn't have Uwe. I think it's just too much. I like Savage though because he's mighty blow tackle, break tackle, and he's got Frenzy. So I love Frenzy on strength 4 pieces, and this is a beautiful piece because he can, anything goes down the flank, he can push into the crowd usually if they're silly enough to give him that option. And obviously having Frenzy has 2 chances to hit something, and then even if he gets tagged, he's dodging around a 2+. So I think he's the ultimate Saurus here. He's by far his best piece. Punisher's decent as well, but he's got nothing on Savage. But then again, you see Punisher you could even use as maybe a cage break on a 5+ on a standard cage with a built-in reroll. That's not bad, I suppose. Strength 4. But I do like the Salamanders. I think they'll do all right. But who would be there? I think their best matchup is probably going to be the Davy Jones Reject. For some reason, I think that the mummies aren't that developed. So mummies are always good regardless, but they're not as good as clowns, for instance. The whites are very basic. The goals, well, everything's very basic, really. It's a newish team. Dio, I've seen throw some magic before, so he won't be an easy guy to beat. But this is a good matchup for him. There's nothing here. If I'm the Lizard player, there's nothing here what scares me. Obviously, this goal's quite nice, but he hasn't got block. He's got guard. 2 guard goals. Guard on goal is always a very, very risky sort of thing. They are very, very good, but they die very, very quickly because eventually someone's going to hit them. And no regen, so, maybe he's thinking long term. Well, if I get guard on him, guard on that guy, maybe pick another guard or 2 up here. I would go the guard route. And the guard is always one of the best skills because if you've got a lot of guard and you position it right, at best, the other team's probably going to get maybe 1 dies and stuff like that, you know, and the occasional 2 dies. So maybe he's going down that route, but you know, a guard we can go anywhere is always very nice, you know. So you know, he can go from one flank to the other to help out. So I get that, and I get why he took the guard. So it'll be interesting to see how he does that. But anyway, we're not onto the Davy Jones rejects yet, so I won't decipher any more of that. But I just think, you know, Paradocus will have a good time against it. It's just the one tackle, and it hasn't got Mighty Blow. So, you know, I don't think the Mummer's going to get anywhere near the Skinks unless Pally decides to put them in harm's way. So, you know, if I'm Pally, I'm probably worried about the LOS hits. Apart from that, you know, it's not a problem. So yeah, West matchup's a difficult one. It really is. Because obviously the Chorfs have got all that guard, stand firm and everything, but they are only strength 3 for the majority. The Yeti Obs are a team I always get suckered to. I've been good the last couple of seasons. I haven't tipped them. But I'm gonna say these for the same reasons. Is they have so much guard, they have so much strength. They've got 2 really nice Mighty Blow tackle blitzers here. Both have actually strip ball as well. One's got Dauntless for against the Saurus, and he's got Frenzy as well. Stand firm's there as well. I really like the Obs. I think, you know, I'm not saying Pally can't beat them, but I think it'd be a really tough matchup for him. I think it's a horrid matchup for him, to be honest. But he won't want him first week, that's for sure. If you can get him when he's got his Exosaurus back, maybe. But yeah, I mean, I think Pally will be very happy. He doesn't have to come against all the claw teams this time. And I wish him the very best of luck. Right, so that's that conference done. So that is the Wasteland Athletic Conference. Now we go on to the Death Valley Conference, and we'll start with Davy Jones Rejects. Good old Dio, obviously. He's left his dwarfs. I loved him with his dwarfs. I'm gutted. But here we go. We're here. And like I've already just briefly said, interesting choice here is the guard on the ghouls. Obviously, it's a mobile guard. Can go wherever he wants it. What's great. But no regen, AB7. And both of these don't even have block yet. Makes it really, really risky. Very, very, you know, I don't know, live by the sword, die by your sword sort of thing. The mummies need, obviously. I mean, this mummy, I don't know if he lost one or whatever, but they're very, very basic. Stand firm guard is solid, but it doesn't look as good because we're just seeing the other 2 mummies from Clown Zombies team. I always think, you desperately need block on these guys, but the guard helps, I guess. His 2 whites are just very, very basic. They've got nothing at all. One's got tackle. The good thing is they're both very close to leveling, so that's always good. He's got a ball handler here as well. Like we said, he's got the 2 guard and a bit of movement down that goal. Wrestle zombies, they're fine. He has a Dare Plague skeleton as well. I really like that. And he's got a guard skeleton as well. So, you know, he's 14-10. He'll get inducements as well. I think he can't. They have that. Is it that big totem guy? Why can't I not remember people's names? That big strength 6 mummy. What do they call him? I'll probably remember later on in the show. But yeah, I mean, Ramtut, that's the fella. I think it's gonna be tough because this team's not as developed as some of the others. But you know, Dio always seems to surprise, and you know, he sort of like takes like the underdog card, like I learnt from Jest. Maybe he learnt it from Jest. Where he'll say, "Nah, I'm not very good. I'm always going to lose," sort of thing. And you know what? Them dwarfs were extremely good. He's a very good coach. I think the days of him being able to say he's not very good are long gone, and he's not fooling anybody. What's great because obviously, you know, he's a good lad, and I want him to do well. 4 wins, 2 draws, 3 losses, not terrible. You know, beat the Tigers, beat the Goblobbers there as well. Lost the Amazons, but again, only having 1 tackle is tough. Gave a good fight against the Chorfs there as well. So, you know, and even drew with the Monster Mash. So, you know, there's definite some good solid form there for him. And, you know, I said I wouldn't write him off in this play pool. I just think it could be a bit tough. And obviously, with some of his best pieces only being AV7, and they have to get in the thick of things, it is a bit of a concern. What would I take from this team? I would take number 15, the dirty player. There's nothing really here what stands out. I get the guard bit, but again, they don't really scream out to me. But a dirty player stamping on someone's skull screams out to me nicely. Unfortunately, he's on 15 points, though. That's a bit of a worry. But, you know, I always think with the undead teams, necro teams and all that, a good dirty player, nice cheap dirty player is always good to have. Especially against the enforcers like the chalk piling on dude. So, yeah. Best matchup, worst matchups. Worst matchup will be the D8 Yobs. D8 Yobs should be able to bully them senseless. They really should. Best matchup's a tricky one. It really is. We haven't had to look at Shaky Dog's team yet, so let's have a look at those. See what he's got. Bit of claw there, isn't he? 1570 TV. Yeah, I'll go with the swords. Something different. They've got a few claw pieces, what would be a concern, but they've got a lot of goblins, and you know they could break pretty quickly, especially if the mummies start grabbing them. So I'm going to go with the swords being the best matchup. It's a tricky one because when you've got a team that's still in development, you know, there's nothing really stands out. But I'll go with obviously the Underground Souls to be maybe the best matchup. That doesn't mean they're going to win it, but I think he'll fancy his chances there. Like I said, the Yobs, I think he'll steamroll them. To be honest, I think that if you can get anything from that game, will be a really good effort. I'm getting worried though because I'm starting to fall in love with the Yobs again. I remember them letting me down. I told them to get in the top 2. I said to beat Squirrels to the second place, and the Squirrels beat them, and I was tearing my hair out. You know, I vowed not to back them since. But yeah, I like I say, I really hope Dio does really well. And like I said, then get through this season, develop a bit more. I think they'll be all the better for it. Right then, the next team, what we got now? Talk of the Devils, the Yobs, the team I try to resist not to pick because I love them, but they never seem to get it done for me. They're the opposite of the Portsmen. You know? He's a great coach in Southie. No doubt about it. You know, he is a great coach. But I feel like I must curse this team. I mean, look at that. Season 16 CL champions as well, you know. Shows how good of a coach he is. This team's great. You know, it's all that guard. He's got his 2 nice blitzers here. Shadowing just adds character. Gotta admit. He's got a decent thrower. He's got a goblin as well. You know, the troll's no frills, but it is what it is. But he does give you valuable strength, as does the strength 5 piece. Obviously, I don't know what he brought in the off-season, I'll be honest. Could it have been the troll? Could it have been a strength 5 piece? I can't actually remember. What looks out of place here? Is it Nauru? Oh. Did he get him from Zidje? Interesting though. Is a blodger, agility 4. We fend, stop the piling on. Interesting pick. But yeah, I mean, you know, Fen's is a decent pick. Obviously, you got Shadow in there. But these sort of picks, to me, add character. So I'm never going to hate on stuff like that. Because they still are quite useful. But seeing Mike shadowing something would be hilarious. But the strength of an Oak team is always bullying down the middle, in my opinion. As if no one, well, for the new people who don't know me very well, obviously I've played... I used to play tabletop a very long time ago when I was a teenager. Yes, that was a long time ago. Also worked for Games Workshop as well. And my team was always the Orcs. Always loved the Orcs. I just love the history of the Orcs, whether it be in Fantasy, 40k, or obviously on Blood Bowl pitch. And I always had a big fan of the Black Orcs for some reason, because they're big, strong, and very serious compared to the rest of them. So I always like to cheer on the York teams. I've got a soft spot for them, and I certainly do have a soft spot for the Yobs. And it's a real nice built team. There's not much claw, there's not much guard in this play pool, so really there's no excuse for Yobs not to do well in this play pool. It should be able to bully stuff. He's got the killers there to take out the blodgers. You know, he's got ball carriers in here, and he's got so much strength. You know, 2 strength 5s, 3 strength 4s, add all the guard on top. Agility 4 ball maker there as well. Oh, man, what's not to like? Seriously, what's not to like with them? If I had to pick a player out of this, it's really tough, but I'm going to go with number 8. Because, as I've said, when I play Orcs, it's about dominating the middle. If I dominate the middle, more times than not, I'll win the game. And this guy is a reliable strength 5 piece, what can dominate down the middle. Every time I look at teams like the Yobs, I want to play Orc. I won't lie. Oh man, I saw it was Zidge's team. I love that. I'd take that team in a heartbeat. And if I could buy the 8 Yobs, I would. I'd be like, tell me how much you want. I'll have them because this is a great team. And you know they've got a great chance in this play pool. Looking for weaknesses, the only weakness I can see is 2 rerolls. I mean, I played the Cowboys with 2 rerolls for 2 seasons, and I remember back in the 4 Horsemen days when we first did it, and Thunder only had 2 rerolls, and I was like, Thunder, how can you play with only 2 rerolls? That is crazy. When I did with the Cowboys, it was because I had no cash, or it was because I was always trying to save for a transfer. So, but I seemed to manage with 2 rerolls. It wasn't great, but this team is a lot better than mine for like all the blocks and stuff like that. So you know maybe it's not too much of a bad thing. The only concern is obviously it's going to be getting a lot of inducements to some of these teams, but you know it's a good team, isn't it? It's a really good team, and it covers all the bases. What's really good, no power none, but you know it's not the end of the world, is it? Best matchups, worst matchups. Oh god, is there a worse matchup for them? Let's have a look at these. What sort of record does Trip have? You see again, you look at this team. There's no guard. Unless this team gets an insane amount of removals, this team shouldn't really. But I've got a feeling, yeah. See, how does Trip beat him 3-0? No disrespect, but how do results like that happen? You know, because on paper that shouldn't happen unless something crazy happens. Well, it might have happened, I guess, but I just don't get it. I really don't. Obviously, Trip's a very good coach. I think the Yobs will be after blood this season. They do have a lot of blodge, what obviously helps, but best matchup. I'm gonna have to go with the Davy Jones rejects then. I mean, I think they really match up well against the disciplines, but that 3-0 drubbing puts me off them. So Davy Jones rejects. Obviously, they'll get like 610 in inducements. They can get Ramtut, but even with, to help bolster his strength, maybe. But even with him and a wizard and all that, I can't see the Davy Jones rejects being able to hold this juggernaut that is the 8 Yobs. So I'm pretty confident they can get that done. So I think that's their best matchup. Worst matchup? Oh, I don't know. I really don't know. I would probably have to go. Oh, this is a tough one because I don't see when I look at good matchups and worst matchups. I look at it as if I was the coach of that team, and if I'm the coach of the Yobs, I'm like. I'm not scared of none of these 7 teams. If I'm being brutally honest, I respect that there's a lot of seriously good coaches behind these teams, but there's nothing really where I'm like, you know, worries me. Coaches worry more than the teams. Oh man. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, I'm really struggling. I'll probably have to go with the Salamanders, I think, just because they've got all the strength, they've got a bit of guard, and they've got an agility 5-piece what can just ignore tackle zones on a 2+, and obviously pick the ball up on 2+ on most occasions as well. So I'm going to go with Pally, but again, you know, it's more to do with him having like 6 strength 4s and 1 strength 5, I guess. And he does have at least it does have the speed, so if you can punch a hole through, these guys can get through pretty quickly. But again, these skinks could get broken very quickly as well. And if he starts losing, you know, 1 or 2 of these Saurus, then he's going to go down pretty badly pretty quick. But at least he's got the strength aspect, and he's got some mighty blow pieces to have a go back, I guess. So I'm going to go with them as his worst matchup. But I think the Yobs are really well built this season. So, best of luck to one of my favourite teams of the MML for sure, if not the game. Right then, good old, the guy everybody loves, you know, Alma's best mate, best friend, however you want to put it, Triprus and his Golden Discipline, who've, first game of the season, they're going to be 4 players down. When we have a look at who did that to him, was it Roik by any chance? Yes, it was Rivanga the Dwarfs what broke some of his team here. You know, he's got a lot of blodge there. Obviously, a Berserker, the Terminator there with agility up. Interesting. Do I like agility on a Berserker? Probably not. Same as the white. I suppose this makes a bit more sense on the Berserker because obviously with Frenzy, it might knock something down and then tag himself onto another piece, so he then dodges away in a 2+. Obviously, it can be used as a bit of a ball handle if need be, but not really their job. Obviously, the flex, the thrower, he's out this game. Runners, he's only got the 1 now, but he's more of a... By getting guard, dodge, it'd be to see what he gets next. Will he go sure hands? Will he go stand firm on the double? I don't know. Obviously, his Jesters keep died. The last one died. We blame Serious Jest for that. So again, he's going to have to try and build another Yeti up. Obviously, if he gets Mighty Blow out, that'd be such a huge thing for him. No cash in the bank card there, only 1430. You know, Trippers is really good. I really enjoy watching Trip play Norse. Out of all the teams I watch him play, this is the one I always like to see him play. He's not, you know, he's used to all these like these seasons where his team's heartbroken and stuff, and he rebuilds every season, and they still punch above the weight. And again, they made the playoffs, you know. And again, I wouldn't back him against him making the playoffs again this season. You know, he just gets it done. Bit like the Postman, most of the times he does deliver. And yeah, he's got pieces there, especially when they're full and healthy. And if you can get maybe Nero, maybe a block on a double or Mighty Blow, that'll help as well. Lack of a ball carrier is a worry. I'll be very surprised if Terminator is used as that. He's an enforcer. He's not really there to... That's like saying, Mad Frankie Fraser, you are, son, just carry the ball for me. You know, it just makes not much sense. In a pinch, yes, but I'm sure he'll be trying to get maybe the flare. What's up with the flare? Hopefully it's just an MNG. If it's a niggle, it's a bit of a problem. Yeah, just an MNG there. So yeah, I mean, if I had to pick a player out of this, it's quite easily the Gravity Kills. He's a Berserker, but he also has sidestep, so he's got pile on, jump up, and all them lovely things. And if he's up and you hit him and you don't knock him down, he'll just sidestep and then hit you next turn. I really, really like him. He's a beautiful piece. 3 rerolls, 1 Apothecary, Chile doing co-assistant as well, so it's good. Very good record, 58 wins, 17 draws, 34 losses, so that's solid enough. He's already beat the Souls, he obviously stuffed the Jobs last season, beat Redenture as well. Dwarf seemed to be the weak link, doesn't it, with this team? Because he drew with Gadless Pro Hawks as well. He beat the Nagel. I think he was very unfortunate, if I remember, in the playoffs last season against the Necromantics. But look at that, 2-0 against Blood of Amber. You know, the 2 losses then really were the Dwarfs. And there's no Dwarfs in this play pool, but there is Chorfs. So, with that in mind, instead of going for the Yobs as the worst matchup, I will choose Murray. Because he has an issue with Dwarfs, and Chorfs can be just as bad as Dwarfs. if that makes sense. It seemed to ram, so that's good enough. So, you know, I think that could be their worst matchup. Although, obviously, and they beat the Obs 3-0 last season, so yeah, I'm going to go with the Chuffs. Best matchup for them, I think it's going to be the David Jones rejects. There's not really much there what scares them, and obviously if he brings his guard goals into Trippers' nose, he'll love that. Trippers loves to put the boot in on nice pieces as well. He ain't got an issue with that. He's got plenty of frenzy pieces as well. So yeah, I think that's his best matchup. Yeah, Chuffs, close thing to Dwarfs, are they? I think so. So I'll go with that as his best matchup. Interesting how Trippers does this season. You know, I think this is... He's played in higher sort of like developed teams than this player pool, so this is a lesser developed player pool. So you think on that theory he should do well, but we will see. Right. So the final team of the player pool is the Underground Souls. I tipped these a couple of seasons ago, and people were like saying, "Really, really?" You know, I was really surprised I picked them, and things like Bernie've lost the plot. And I think, if I remember correctly, they got to the playoffs in the top two, if I remember, or did they just miss out by one? I'm sure they made the playoffs. Then they had a really bad, but they lost a lot of good players. And last season I said they'd struggle, and they'd still fought very, very well. Shaker Dog is an amazing coach, really good coach, especially with his Underworld. He's still got some claw here. He's still got the Temple. He's still got Monument when he comes back. Warren Street's pretty decent thrower as well. And then obviously he's got Aldgate as well, who's obviously an Agility 4. He's got Horns, so obviously, you know, it can one die most things or two die a skink. He hasn't got any like ball sacking skills, but you know, he's still alright, and he can go in there and get the ball if the ball's loose. It's still I suppose with he's I don't know. I just always think he's lacking a few players here. But again, he's lost a few, hasn't he? As he would with being Underworld. Obviously, he's got some two-head pieces there. 13 players will help 12 for the first game. Only 10k in the bank, though, is a concern. But at least he's got some claw. That should help try and get the numbers down. But it'd be nice to see a data player in this team if he could roll a double. Will he? I mean, he doesn't really need block and a goblin, does he? I think you either go wrestle or strip ball for like a potential ball sacking option, or you go DP. But obviously he's quite tasty. 70k goblin going around fouling stuff. Knuffles Alt as well helps out in that respect. Very good record. So, you know. And yeah, Gold Discipline seems to have the wood over him at the moment. They're beating 2-0 in both their matchups. You know, it was a tough season for him. I mean, they beat Blood of Amber there 3-2. That's a good result. Probably the highlight of their season, wasn't it? By the looks of it. Or was it the only one that won? I think. Yeah, looks like it. But yeah, like I said, they had lost a lot of players last season, going into last season, and they tried to rebuild a bit here. So it'll be interesting to see how they do this season. If I'm taking a play from this team, it's a tricky one. Probably go with Temple. I mean, I like Kensington, but Temple's pretty smart. Movement 8, Agility 4, Blodger, 2 heads. You know, lacking sure hands. What I think he might have got if he didn't get movement, but obviously he's not far away from sure hands. I think that's the only thing what he's lacking. Saying that though, if he's against strip ball war dancers, he might use Monument instead. But it'll be interesting to see what he picks with Temple next one up. But yeah, I think I'd probably pick him out of all the players there. Right, best matchup and worst matchups. Well, worst matchups there's a few, but I'm going to go with the Wild Tickle fight. All that tackle, all that guard, all that mighty blow. You know, it is a serious team. He's got hobgoblins there as well, just to do whatever he wants with. He's just so much stronger. He hasn't got the speed, but then again, Underworld aren't that quick, apart from a few Skaven pieces has got. So, you know, that to me is a concern. Stunty getting hit by tackle mighty blows, not a good thing, not a good recipe. So I think that's definitely his worst matchup. Best matchup again. It seems like I'm picking on Dio, but it's because his team's not as developed as everybody else's. So, you know, again, you know, you look at this team and it seems to be in a building phase. Didn't expect at 14-10. Any team that comes to the pros at 14-10 is always going to struggle. Or always be a good matchup for teams, unfortunately. Only one tackle piece, two mighty blow pieces, but they're on the mummy, so they only move 3. So, you know, you'd like to think Shake will decide what he lets them hit. So that's what I go there. My dog's doing my head and he keeps coming in and out of my room on there burning. So yeah, that's what I would say is best matchup. But you know, I wouldn't surprise Dio surprising us with some wins this season. He's a good coach. Right, so that's the 8 done. Right, so we're now down to the nitty-gritty. So who will come first and second, and what is the bold prediction? Ooh, God. Bold prediction is, and it's only a bold prediction because it's regarding the coach. So forgive me if you don't think it is. But bold prediction is this. Trippers and the Golden Discipline will not make the players from this pool. I know a lot of people will expect them to, because he seems to make the playoffs these days. He has a good record against the god himself in Gardlia. But I tell you what, this season, he doesn't make the playoffs. That's my bold prediction. I know he'll be going, Bernie, you know, nothing. Of course I'm going to make the playoffs. And I'm sure a lot of people expect us to make the playoffs. But my bold prediction is this. He will not make the playoffs. So there. That's my bold prediction. Right, the first 2 then. Second place is a really tricky one. There's about 3-4 teams I could have picked for this. Oh, man. This is hard. See, I like Clown Zombie, but maybe TV49 might be not enough. Right, okay. Second place is going to be the Fire Salamanders. Paladocus, I think he's had a bit of a rough time with it in pros against mainly claw-heavy teams. He hasn't got any there. And before that, he was really impressive in this challenge with these as well. I think this is definitely a play pool he could get himself into the playoffs. He is second. So who is first? Well, I'll give you a clue. It's either the Wild Tickle Fight or the Yobs. Now, can I resist the Yobs again and go for the challenge runners-up of last season? Murray's very good with Chorfs. I love how the Chorfs are built. Really, really like the way the Chorfs are built. But I also like the Yobs built. Every time I back the Yobs, though, they let me down. Although I backed them for 2 seasons, and it's the right call not to back them. Oh, man. Well, first place, I am going to go for the 8 Yobs. Yes, I've been suckered into tipping him again. The 8 Yobs get my pick. The stronger, the meaner, the greener. They've got all the guard, they've got all the mighty blow, they've got the ball handlers, and I think they're just a bit better built than the Murray's team. I can hear Tripper say now, but I beat them 3-0 and you're saying I'm not going to make the playoffs. But that's what a bold prediction is. I'm being bold, Trip. It's time for the Yobs to deliver. It's time this team delivers for their coach. Because this team should be delivering. And this is the season the 8 Yobs go into playoffs as the top coach of this play pool. Followed by the Fire Salamanders in second. With a Wild Tickle Fight and probably sneaking third. And then a big fight between the rest for fourth. So that is my prediction. The Yobs have suckered me into tipping them again. So they will be my prediction to get to the playoffs. And the Fire Salamanders will just sneak that second place, I think. So that's us done. Like I say, agree, disagree, let me know. It's just my thoughts and predictions. Obviously, I don't always get them right, but you know, I hope you enjoyed it anyway. And good luck to all 8 coaches. And will we see the new Season 22 champion coming from this play pool? Who knows? We'll find out shortly. Take care, guys, and best of luck.